those movies, but nothing. It's all kind of pale. It's sort of a pale impression of the original three, all of them. Even the prequels. So I just kind of look back on it now as, those first three movies. That's my Star Wars. That's the original Star Wars. That's the good stuff. That's where you go if you want to get nourishment. You know, and the rest of this stuff, even the prequels, which I think are okay. And I know some people that worked on them, and they're beautiful films. Obviously, the production design and execution, but this new stuff, and I would probably say the first two seasons of Mando, I think, are just really good. I think that first season is just perfect. The second is near perfect. The third is, it's got some problems, but that's the purest that I've seen. Some people would say Rogue One. I need to go back and watch that, because when I saw that in the theater,
I loved Rogue One.
It just didn't engage me at the first time. I've probably got to watch it again. But, getting back to my original point, the first three movies, that's where the magic is. And George Lucas was a different guy back then and had different intentions and was young and hungry and had something to prove. And there's a lot to be said about that for an artist when you're under the gun and you've got studio execs breathing down your neck and you've got to show them something remarkable. And he rose to the occasion. He also had a bunch of creatives who he deftly hired, and they rose to the occasion as well. But everything since then, to me, it's just kind of like it's fan fiction. It's a pale comparison, and it'll never be what it was. So it's just sort of, you got to kind of manage your expectations these days and understand that what we had in the 70s and the 80s was really special. And fortunately, we can always go back to those. I own the unaltered DVDs of the first three films, which I bought back in like 1997 because they were going out of print. So you can still find those on eBay. So you can watch the movies, the first three movies, as they were originally released without all the special edition, special effects, and Han Solo.
I kind of like the editions a little bit. But,
some of them are hokey, like the whole Han Solo Jabba. That just always bugs me. And altering the Greedo sequence, I just can't stand that stuff. I love the X-wing. I love a lot of the space sequences that they dropped in to kind of help out the original. But outside of that, I think that first film is a perfect film, and I think that everybody just needs to understand that magic. You're just never going to get that magic. And again, it's kind of like a party. It's like you throw a party and it goes perfectly, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to throw another party next weekend. It never goes the way that the original.
You can't capture the magic.
No, it's just lightning in a bottle, man.
But when you have a person like Leslie Headland walking into the room, you kind of
do it.
That chick was never going to succeed. It was never going to happen.
Her wife is just not a good actress. I have nothing against their relationship or any of that stuff, but she can't write. She can't write. She can't direct. She's just not good at her job.
They were smart when they went out and got Favreau. And I was really, really impressed when they did that, because I said, John can catch lightning in a bottle. He can do it. He either hits or he misses. I think John's really talented, and obviously Filoni, but I think John's more talented than Filoni, frankly. But I think that he was able to capture some lightning in a bottle on that first Mando. And, ever since then, I've just been kind of confused as to why they went to such a heavy hitter in the beginning. And then they start handing out, these other series to people who I just don't think are serious creatives. It's just bizarre to me. Book of Boba Fett too. I mean, what the hell was that? It's just weird.
What? I went to a Comic-Con locally here in Piqua where I met Jim Wyzorski, which was very cool. He does a lot of almost like Robert Corman, all the booby movies and stuff like that. But he did a great movie with Return of the Swamp Thing with Heather Locklear.
Yeah. And
that was a really good comic adaptation.
It was.
It was pretty correct to the comic.
Yeah, the first Swamp Thing's really good too. Those first two are really good. The second one, they had a little bit bigger budget, and obviously they go out and hire Heather Locklear, who's a big star at the time. She was on Dynasty. I always found those to be really cool. because it was the closest thing to the comic, and I always really dug Swamp Thing. So I like those movies; they're fun, you know. And again, it's you know, suspension of disbelief. Yes, you have to have that when you're watching Swamp Thing 1 or 2 for sure.
And again, just to reiterate, Brett and I love Twisters. Great movie, great tips out of the hats. The original Twister movie, Deadpool and Wolverine's a must see. There, how much you think? I think they're going to hit $1 billion. What do you think, Brett?
I think it will.
It'll
Yeah,
be close.
yeah, man. I think it's looking like that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, they have big
I
enough
cringed
opening.
when I was in the theater because there was little kids in there. Brett, there were words that were said in this movie where I had to turn to my son Alan and said, "Alan, I don't know what that means. Can you tell me?" Dad, I don't think you want to know what that means. And he's like, I don't feel comfortable talking about it. So I said, okay,
Yeah.
Googled it later. And I'm
A little
like,
bit later. Yeah.
not for little kids, you
Yeah.
know?
Unfortunately, if a lot of that stuff's going to go over their head, um, you know, as it did with me with stuff like that when I was that age, watching movies that I probably shouldn't have been watching. A lot of that stuff, whatever double entendres or whatever, it just goes straight over my head. I was more caught up in the action. So,
So
but
again,
yeah.
we want to caution you against apathy watching.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
love the YouTube channels out there. Of course, Film
yeah.
Threat with Alan Ing and Chris Gore. I love Gary at Nerdrotics, Bounding into Comics, Project Egg Roll. But a good way to find what YouTube channel guy you like or don't like is to watch Gary's Friday Night Tights because he has a whole bunch of different people. So that's how I found Chris Gore was still around through that. And going to the movie with low expectations, I guess, because and then you're thrilled and watch for movies where you can have a fun time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is about like, what do you want to spend your time doing, right? You want to spend your time watching a movie and being miserable. You want to spend your time watching a movie and enjoying and feeling good. You know, I mean, I can't imagine apathy watching stuff because I'd just be a miserable prick all day long.
And my son. Now it's cool. Kudos to my son Alan. My granddaughter Willow May. He takes her to the movies.
Oh, nice.
She has her own little flashlight, you know, to kind of watch where her feet are, and you got to watch it because she'll shine it all around. But he took her to Inside Out too,
Cool.
and she loved it, and obviously a lot of other people loved it too. So I think these days it's going to be hit or miss. You just have to be discerning.
Yeah.
And do some homework on the movie. You know, of course, check out Brett on Bounding into Comics. Brett's working on. Let's go over again what you were with Eric July. What are you working on right now, Brett?
I'm coloring Bloodruth graphic novel, and then I'm also working on Superhero Fatigue for Comics Matter with your boy Zach. It's on Indiegogo, Superhero Fatigue, Sergio Cariello, Chuck Dixon. So it's a good looking book, and it's funny. If you're looking for something that's light and a comedy and a satire, and something that kind of lampoons superheroes and superhero movies, it's a really cool book. It's a lot of fun.
And Brett R. Smith, of course, Clinton Cash.
Yeah.
Colored a lot of great books out there. I know it's a heated debate about the politics these days, but it's going to be what it's going to be, folks, you know, political wise. And I would encourage you to go to both Brett's Twitter and Brett. Do you know your Twitter?
It's right there at Brett R. Smith.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have to add that to mine because Brett has a lot of great information. He also will repost a lot of great indie comics because I've stopped reading regular comics, man.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they said Deadpool isn't gay enough. There's a lot of that stuff. I'm not against gay people. You and I have discussed this in a thing before.
Right.
But Deadpool wasn't the original gay. He's not a gay superhero. He's maybe flirty both ways, loves women as it shows in the comics and on there. but North Star of Alpha Flight was actually the first gay superhero,
Yeah.
and they had a big wedding issue with X-Men and stuff like that. I would encourage you to go back, read the older comics, watch some of the older movies. I just rewatched Fantastic Four 1 and 2. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Galactus looks cool in the new Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
The picture of his face.
Yeah.
I think it's good casting, except Pedro. I'm glad he's working, but how he juggles that in the Mandalorian movie, which I don't know. I don't know that I would go see a Mandalorian and Grogu movie at the theater,
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know
but
either, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
we'll
You know
see on
what it
that.
starts to look like when the previews start to come out. But
And
I'm with
Brett,
you.
what do you? Hey, we're both watching Taylor Sheridan stuff.
Mhm.
Tulsa King is free right now
Mhm.
on CBS. They just
Yeah.
started airing that. That's
Yeah.
season 1. Season 2 is coming up in September.
Yeah.
Are they going to do any more Reacher?
Yeah, I know they're working on season 3 because they want to get it out as quickly as possible, because all of these streamers are trying to crank out entertainment faster to avoid what they call churn, which is where you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you watch a bunch of stuff that you all have always wanted to watch, you watch both seasons of Reacher, and then you cancel your subscription. And then when the new season comes out, you re-up. And then you watch Reacher, and then you cancel your subscription. They call it churning. So they're trying to avoid that, and the only way to do that is to put out stuff faster. So as soon as season 2 wrapped, they went directly into season 3 on Reacher, and hopefully we'll get something soon. And it's the same with Tulsa King. They want to faster turnarounds on this stuff because they know they got to keep people captivated with new stuff.
Okay, superhero fatigue or bad movie fatigue? What do you think?
Bad movie fatigue, dude. Bad TV fatigue. I mean, it's all just it's not on par. It's not it's not on the level. They have it that they don't have it dialed in. They need better creatives. And they're out there.
What do you think about Colin?
They exist. Those creatives exist. They just need to hire them.
What do you think about Colin Farrell and the Penguin?
Dude, I think Colin Farrell's like just an amazing actor. I haven't watched
I
it.
love him
I
as
have
an
a
actor,
hard
yeah.
time with anything that is Batman related that doesn't have Batman in it. That's my problem. I've always been that way. I was the same way with Gotham. I was the same way with Pennyworth. I was just like, I don't care. I want something with Batman in it. It's got to be compelling to me, and the only way you do that is with the hero. So, but that's just me. I didn't like Joker. Lots of people like Joker.
I didn't care for it. I'll go see part 2 just to see it, but
yeah. I won't see that in the theater.
A lot of anxiety at the time,
and
that movie seriously physically stressed me out.
Yeah.
But because he was doing his job, Joaquin Phoenix was doing his job.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, the new cartoon series, have you ever seen a female Penguin? Now they're going to do a female Mrs. Freeze. All this stuff.
It's so too bad because it looks so good. They obviously hired a great studio. They're cranking out great animation. It looks really visually, awesome. But when I saw that female Penguin and like the song and dance routine and the 23 skidoo, I was just like, nah, I don't think so. I think I'll continue watching the Universal Action Channel on Pluto TV, which is showing round the clock Knight Rider, A-Team, Miami Vice, Magnum PI all day long, 24 hours a day. I mean, it's the greatest channel that anyone has ever created, and it's free. It's amazing. So I've been watching a lot of Miami Vice, and I've been kind of shocked at how good that show was, especially the first 3 seasons when Michael Mann was the showrunner, because it got handed off to Dick Wolf at some point in time in season 4 or 5. But when Michael Mann was on that show and he was driving it, it's a phenomenal show. Once James Brown starts showing up with the UFOs and all that stuff, the show gets a little But that show, people forget how much that show changed not only TV, but also movies, music, pop culture, clothes. That show changed so much, and I don't think Michael Mann gets quite enough credit. It's created by another guy, but Michael Mann was really sort of the big driving creative force behind that show. Why it was so good.
And I'm going to be uploading some old Time Tunnel episodes. Remember Time Tunnel?
Yeah, totally.
Just to have that, of course, on my channel. I have some. I don't monetize my channel, so Disney's kind of cool with me. I have Dr. Sin, the Scarecrow, which was a great series.
Yeah, people should check that out. It's really good. Yeah,
it's really good. And Leslie Nielsen as the Swamp Fox.
Yeah,
based on the true history character of Francis Marion, and that was taken by Mel Gibson in The Patriot, and he kind of gleaned off of Francis Marion and the actual historical story. So there's good stuff out there, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Make up your own mind on what you want to watch. Of course, I endorse my good friend Brett R. Smith, who's very smooth. God, I'm going to play Smooth Criminal in the outro. No, I'm getting it. Dude, I'm sorry about that.
Good song.
But hey, check out Brett. Eric July does great comics. I can't say enough for Isom Comics. I own the issues. I love the material. And Brett also, like I said before, I'm being repetitive, but I want you to know that Brett on his Twitter channel has a lot of great new comic books from indie guys who do some really good work.
Yeah. I try and
give a shout out to anybody in particular.
I know Graham Nolan's got Doc Frankenstein. There's I try and retweet as many creators as I can who have active campaigns, and just spread the word so people know, because that's how you market these things these days. But yeah, there's a ton of great comics out there right now. Most of them are in the indie market, and you just got to go exploring on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and you'll find them.
Did you know if Razor Fist, did he do a comic book?
Yeah, he did one with George Alexopoulos, Goes to the Badlands, I think it's called, and I think it was in black and white, and they're going to do a colored version as well. But I think that's available. I think you can pick that up. That looked really cool, because I had never seen George do that kind of artwork before, and
the look was great. I don't own the comic, but I plan on. He's a fellow Arizonian as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tucson. Yeah, but I think Razor Fist wrote it, and George drew it. So yeah, looks good.
So hey, cool. Everybody, and I really encourage everybody through this season of electing president and all this stuff, learn to look past this stuff. Don't let it engulf you. Learn to love one another. Have a beer with each other, like Ronald Reagan used to have with Tip O'Neill at the end of the day. We don't have to. I mean, the Beatles said it best. All you need is love. We need to, I don't want to be preachy old hippie guy, but we need to start just loving one another, man.
Well, and you can do that with movies and music and things where we come together, where we congregate together. And that's where we find that we have all kinds of things in common. Maybe not so much the path for the country, but we all love the same things.
Oh yeah, because even with Deadpool and Wolverine, both sides of the aisle were digging it for different reasons, but that's okay, know.
Yeah, I don't care. As long as it does well, people love it and they have a good time. That's really all that matters.
Okay, Brett. Well, you stayed way late for me. I do appreciate you. It's a privilege to be able to do stuff with you once in a while, dude.
Oh yeah, it's always
like a brother. I really, really do. And now it's time for the outro, so I can let Brett.
King, baby.
What the hell are you two doing? That's called rocking out. You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
And this is Dr. Gonzo for all you baby boomers. Hey, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you right around the corner.
Hi, my favourite DJ, Dr. Gonzo, is on the air right now. Dr. Gonzo is live Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The doctor knows what you need. The true classic hits of the 60s, 70s and 80s. So tune in to gonzoradiopequa.com 24/7. Buy the ticket and take the ride, because that's just what the doctor ordered. Tune in worldwide on the internet of Spotify.
And that was my little Star Trek cha-cha-cha. And again, Brett, thank you for being on. We're going to end the stream right now. Please like and subscribe. And see, I'm Dr. Gonzo. Oh, you know the one thing I like that I didn't show? This is, I like Jennifer Garner because she can handle these puppies
She's good Electra.
better than me.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
No spoilers for Wolverine and Deadpool, but hey, Brett, we're going to end the stream now. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Tim.
God bless, man. You and Lisa have a great afternoon, man.
You too. Thanks again. We'll do it again.
And bye-bye.
Later.